Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Daily Dose of Healing. I have a special guest with me. It's my friend Jen. We've been all month talking about energetics and the frequency of different things. So we've talked about the frequency of joy, of going all in, of mattering, of being someone that matters and what that feels like, and receiving and giving and pleasure. And now Jen's going to come and talk to us about the frequency of money, of wealth, of abundance. So here's Jennifer.
Thank you so much. Oh my gosh. Thank you for inviting me to this conversation. And I'm so honored to that you're, trusting me and to share with your group. So I think when we talk about the frequency of money, context is really important. And so why do I talk about the frequency of money, and why did I get really interested in growing wealth and even teaching wealth? So I started my first business in all about wellness, all about corporate wellness, like going into offices, bringing all the tools, a lot of the tools that you embody so well, Amanda, and I'm sure that you teach as well: breath work, movement, meditation, positive self-talk. And I did this in schools and hospitals and offices for many years. And that was a cool experience to grow my own business to, like, probably at that point was doing like 4K to 6K per month. Like, great, had a team, even had a yoga studio at one point. And it felt like wealth because I was like out of corporate. I had control over my own time, and it was just amazing. And that was great. And that, for me, that was like one level of like autonomy. There was some money and there was some time. Then I had the chance to build a doTERRA business, and it grew really, really big, which was some, grit and some luck and, privilege and things that happened, that business grew about to like 6 to 10K per month. And all of a sudden I had all of this time freedom because it's like a product-based business and people would do orders whether I was working or not. And that like opened my mind, like, whoa, like if you're open to new sorts of ways of thinking, and certainly for me, I had to challenge like negative stories in my head about what it meant to build a doTERRA business, which is like direct marketing, MLM. Once I let go of those judgments, I was like, whoa, you can have a lot of wealth. Like, again, money, wealth, time, wealth, and a lot of free time, a lot of openness at that point. And then that rabbit hole brought me to then, when I met my husband, we started various businesses together. He's in tech, so like a meditation app, and then later on a more consumer facing platform. Anyways, that experience required me to shift even more how I thought about wealth and what I thought was possible. And that was circa 2022. And I had my first experience of bringing in like $500,000 in like 5 months, 5 to 7 months. And going to New York and San Francisco. I'm from Canada, like Amanda, from Montreal, which is a big city, but certainly not in the kind of like visionary big city, big money, the way people are in New York or in San Francisco or in LA, and really opened my eyes. And suddenly I was receiving all this wealth. And then the next sort of phase in my, like, we'll talk about practicality, then get into energetics after, was that I realized I really was not really managing it. Like, it was kind of going to the business or going to this event or that event or this flight or that flight. And there was no sort of sense of it building. So then again, I opened my mind to new ways of thinking about money, and then got incredibly strong last year at managing money and then investing money, both in the stock market and in crypto, and had some big gains like that. So every time I was willing to like let go of who I thought I was, let go of what I thought about the world, let go of rigid ideas, and open my mind to new ways of thinking, more money poured in. Not always, like my business, like all businesses, certainly went up and down. It wasn't just like a straight line up by any stretch. But there would just be moments of receiving more money in ways I never thought were possible. And I continue to like open my mind and continue to question. So I just wanted to give that context as to why I got really interested in talking about money. And I'll just finish with one thing. Really, the shift so that this was me making money in my own life. But when I think when the seed was planted for me to actually talk about money, right? Because that's one thing, right? Like we can have our relationship with wealth in our own life. And then there's like what we teach and talk about and the transformation we talk about was circa 2015. I was working at the Montreal Children's Hospital, working with teens with eating disorders. And that was one of the things I did. I worked with the medical team and I really took care of the body, mind, relaxation, nervous system piece. And there was a family and they were just very poor and all they could afford was McDonald's. And they were two parents working 3 jobs, and the son was 8 and had an eating disorder because he had saw his dad have a heart attack and he was terrified of eating fast food, but that was all the family was eating. And it just was this moment that I was like, no amount of meditation or nervous system work, of course that always helps, right? But like these people need to like get into a better financial situation. And it was just like, how can I be teaching wellness without there being a foundation of financial wellness? So that was the first time like the seed was planted. And then from there, I started incorporating it bit by bit. And now it's like the main thing I do.
What would you say? Let's say those are different levels of identity with wealth or relationships with
Yeah.
wealth. What do you think was the first belief that broke through, and then the rest of the ones that you were able to shift?
Oh yeah, I know for sure what it is. The first belief that I shifted was a belief that wealthy people are bad people, bad and greedy and vapid, not like deep and sensitive and creative like I am, right? It was this like this really strong belief um that I've had this moment. I had a boyfriend pointed out to me that he's like, you have a really big judgment about rich people. And then that was the first time that I was like, oh my God, he's right. So that judgment about wealthy people was the first one.
Would you say it's something like a separation between you and them?
For sure. Total separation. Yeah.
Awesome. And if you're not like them, then what?
If I'm not like them,
Yeah.
yeah, like, well, in that, first of all, that belief would, subconsciously make me do things that would not allow me to build wealth, you know, right?
So how
So
did you shift that? What was the key in your nervous system, in your body, that allowed you to go from I'm not like them to I could be like them?
yeah, I think it was two things. One, it was meeting people that I already sort of, felt affinity towards, and then finding out afterwards that they had a lot more money than I thought. And I was like, oh, wait, they're a really nice person and they're a millionaire. So that was one piece. And then I think when I saw a pathway, I think that was such the gift. That was the gift with doTERRA and any I can't speak for other MLMs or anything like that. But all I can say is that one isolated experience was that there was this roadmap. And it was the first time that I'd seen like a clear roadmap. Like if you do this and you sell this amount, like then you have $100 a month. And all of a sudden, this thing that seemed like this foggy, impossible thing, it was like, oh no, you just do steps 1, 2, 3, 4. And of course, there's a lot of work to it. But I think the pathway that it was the sense of like, oh, it's possible for me. So it was the like, oh, this person I relate to, and 2, oh, maybe this is possible for me. And then suddenly I didn't feel the need to create that separation.
Beautiful. And when you went from the your doTERRA to the software with your husband, what shift happened there?
Yeah, well, I often joke that he kind of like pulled me into it kicking and screaming because I didn't know that world, but I'm so grateful he did because he just opened up a world that I actually love, and I'm still very much in the crypto community. So yeah, I think the same thing. He entered me into this pitch competition, and I love communications. I'm a good speaker and storyteller. And I just went and be like, why am I doing this? I won't even, and then I won the competition. So I thought, yeah. So I think I had just had this, again, it was this idea, like I could never do tech, like that's too hard. But then, the competition was to sort of like describe the vision for your business. And we were building a platform to actually help coaches and all this stuff. Anyways, so I think again, it was like, oh, it's possible for me. And then again, it was meeting people, similar to the communities that you create, right? And masterminds. Like I met these other women in tech, like they look like they're women. They're like we're similar. And if they're doing it, maybe I can do it. So yeah, community is such a huge piece.
Amazing. What, I guess, do more people have a block making money or receiving money?
Ooh, that's a really good question. I mean, they really go together.
Can you talk about both, like the energy of
Yeah.
both of them?
Yeah. So I think let's talk about the making money. I think, and for myself too, and I'm always refining, and for my clients too, like there's this there's this idea that like I don't like sales or sales is bad or any kind of like thing under the umbrella of sales activities that allow you to make money, like sales, marketing, communications, brand, any of this. And I feel like there's this resistance to learning that. Even like tech founders, like these women, they have this beautiful vision for their tech company, right? This piece of software. And they're so passionate and they're passionate founders. But then learning the skills of sales, it's like they don't want to do that because there's judgments about it. Or same thing, there's an amazing astrologer or like spiritual coach, and they're just so passionate and they'll just learn and go deep into the skill. But then the skill of sales, there's this instant sort of aversion of it. So I think the like that's where the block is. So I think then it's a start, and we know where it comes from. It doesn't come from like we don't pull it out of the sky, right? We have these examples of these advertising that felt sleazy or sales or that felt like pushy or misleading or misguiding or sneaky, and we don't want to be like that. So it's like the energetic shift, I think, to making money is realizing that you can you can make money by being just really honest and really clear and not manipulating and giving people agency to say no. And so knowing that you can do it in a way that aligns with your values, I feel like that's a shift that once people sort of clear that up, and for myself, it's a lot easier to make money.
What about in receiving? Where do people, um,
Yeah.
let's say, drop their frequency with
Yeah.
respect to receiving?
Yeah, there's just this I'll start with myself, like thinking about myself, like I think it would feel like this guilt that it's like I can't get paid to do something that I really enjoy and I'm really good at. Like I have to really struggle to receive money. So if there was something that felt really easeful and joyful or easy, like it's never easy, but sometimes I feel like you do a lot of work and then the money comes and it's like, wow, you know? Um, and in the moment it feels easy, but your brain kind of forgets about all the steps that led you there.
That led you.
Um, right? And the
Totally.
experiences and growth and all that. Um, it's like this feeling of guilt, like I don't deserve this. I shouldn't be receiving this. Like something bad is going to happen to me if I receive this. Like, yeah, like fears come up with the receiving of money, and then or just before, right? That like if someone could do a really amazing offering or something, or they're passionate about their work, and then someone's like, oh, how do I work with you? And then they're just like they just like fall apart, you know, rather than be like, well, I mean, we've been in trainings together, right? Embody that like selling seductress, like there's this way and there's this way, and it's just experiencing so much joy um in the pathway, and then joy in the receiving of it, like, oh my god, I'm so excited for you, I'm so excited for me, this is like the flow of wealth. You know, that was a big piece too, to remember that like money wants to flow. It's like water, it doesn't want to stay stagnant. So really when I receive, this was a big piece that unlocked for me, remembering that it doesn't just come to me. Like, let's be honest, as soon as money comes towards me, first of all, it's like some goes into savings, some goes into investments, some goes into groceries, some goes into my next mentor, some goes into rent. So it's like, it's not even really staying with me, but people think it's like I received it. So I think just starting to realize like, oh, this money is just flowing through me and I'm just helping it flow to um these different people, right? I mean, many people are getting paid when money comes through me. Um, but people don't see it like that. They have this like guilt, like I can't receive all of this.
I love that concept that it is just like a flowing stream. And
Yeah.
then you channel it only
Yeah.
so that you can provide with other people or
Yeah.
to other people what their resources to continue the cycle and the flow of the money.
Absolutely. And I want to talk about my experience as a because when you're a tech founder and CEO, your main job is fundraising. Like pretty much the whole time because you're always raising the next level. It's called like your pre-seed, which is like 500,000, and then your seed is like 1 to 5 million, and then your series A is like 5 million to 20 million. And then so all of these tech founders, they're like raising all the time. And what I realized from that experience, it's like these people, these investors, they like want to give you money. They just want to know like what are you going to do with it? You know, like and if you say this was like this one blew my mind. Like when I started, we're like, well, let's just raise I forget. It was like let's raise $500,000. To me, that seems like a lot of money, right? I was like, that's a lot of money. And mentors and people and other investors we spoke to, like, no one's going to take you seriously. They're going to think like you're not serious. You don't have a big vision. You need to say you're raising 2 million. And it was just like, okay, wait, like, because they see, like, if you want to get to a certain goal, your desire to receive more makes them trust you more. Whereas, like, I feel like, I don't know, as a woman and just not growing up in that kind of tech startup environment, you think differently. It's think people with the high prices, people are like mistrusting. And if you have a low price, well, you must be a really good, hardworking person. But they're just like, no, you're just not a good planner because like you're going to run out of money in 2 months and your company's going to go belly over, you know? So that was a big shift that it's like, oh, wait, if I may like, you know, give me $2 million and I'm going to spend this much on marketing, this much on building the product, this much on team or hiring devs or something, that made them feel like more confident. And then again, to the point with the stream, it's like the money's not going in my pocket. I would, you know, I might take a salary of like whatever portion of that, but it's going to all of these places and we're all winning together.
And one of the stories I love to tell is watching kids receive money
Yeah.
or even things like my daughter. She's like the best receiver. You give her a sticker and she's like, oh my gosh, a sticker. I'm so excited. Wow, look at this. Look, mommy, it's a pony. Oh my gosh, it's got a unicorn. Oh my goodness. And like for a sticker, she's like,
I
Madame
love
gave me a sticker. And you're like, amazing, right?
Yeah.
So
Oh,
it
I
makes
love
you
that.
want to like gift her more because of that reaction.
Yeah, oh, exactly. Yeah, that gratitude and that excitement and oh my God, yeah, such a good point. Yeah, celebrating what we receive too, hey?
Yeah,
So
from one
important.
sticker, she'll like go over the moon.
Oh, that's so nice. I love that. Thank you for sharing that. It's so cute.
The receiving code that I'm learning
It's a
through
big
her.
time receiving code and even small amounts too, right? Like even some things in my product suite, I have like $4, you know, and then it's like even then receiving like $4, you know, because it's like, whoa, that's still cool, you know? And like, yeah, that energy of being excited or picking up a penny that you see on the street of like, ooh, you know, don't not being like, oh, it's not enough. Like this idea of like, oh my gosh,
Let's
sticker.
talk about the frequency of not enough and how it stands in the way of abundance.
Oh my gosh. It's huge if you can train yourself to see enough everywhere. But yeah, when you're in not enough, everything you see is not enough. Like not enough time, not enough money, not enough friends, not like, and you're caught in that. So then even when there's an opportunity that shows up, it's like you also don't see it. You're like not enough. And the opposite of that, like this law of sufficiency, is something that I practice a lot and teach my clients a lot, which is just start, you know, because we all have moments where like, you know, there's some bills, mortgage and things, okay, they're starting to feel tight. How to break out of that is start with like, oh my God, I have running clean water. Maybe even take a shower and just remind yourself like a billion people on the planet can't do this right now, right? Open your fridge, eat a piece of fruit and it's like, oh my gosh, I have enough. I have a bed I can sleep in tonight. And just start asking your brain to look for evidence of how you have more than enough, more than enough. And look, I know sometimes when money's more tight, it's harder to see this, but you'll start to find ways you won't believe. You're like, I have 10 pairs of underwear. Like I have socks, I have clothes, I have friends I could call, like, and you start seeing like more and more and more and more. And then you're just like, oh my gosh. And then, yeah, your frequency, your energy is like, oh, there's more and more and more. And then, yeah, you're open to these opportunities and collaborating. And then even, so, when it comes to money, sometimes, yes, it's the season to like raise our prices and not do things for free. But sometimes I find if you're in the attitude of scarcity and not enough, you're like cutting yourself off from opportunities, because sometimes it's the perfect thing to just trust and go out and collaborate and like, I'm going to do this event for free. It's like having that strategic mind, like I'm building strategic partnerships, like, or this just feels good. And then of course, yeah, sometimes it's the moment to say like, I don't do this anymore. Now this is my rate. But I find sometimes people are in the energy of not enough, and then they're hiding behind like, oh no, this is my rate. But it's not because they actually have an embodied sense of like, no, this is the price that I align to. It's like they want to skip the discomfort of doing things for free, which is like I did so many things for free to build up my business and demand, right? They sort of want to skip that because they're feeling not enough. When they go and do something for free or low cost, they're like, "Oh, not enough, more evidence of not enough." But if you're in that energy of like more than enough, you're like, oh my God, I'm doing this event. It's like, I'm not even paying for this. This is marketing. Oh my gosh, I'm doing this thing. Oh my God. Right. And that, so it's a different mindset. So anyways, I feel like people with money can get in this like sneaky, like you have to be aware of the energy behind it.
Absolutely. And I love what you're saying about finding ways to see the abundance in things. One of the ways that I like doing is so I can go to the dollar store, right? And I give the
Mhm.
kids whatever, like $5, and they can buy anything that they want. And it's like for them, it's like, wow, I can do anything, right? And for you, you're
Yeah.
like, they can buy anything in here.
Yeah. Oh my God. That's such a good idea. I know like the stickers and the pens and the things and like, oh yeah.
Yeah, and it's like, okay, here's $5, and you're like,
Yeah.
but it's abundant because they're like, I can get anything here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, you can, kiddo.
Yeah. Oh, so good. I love all the teachings that your kids give you.
Yes, they are definitely a challenge.
Yeah.
I read yesterday a quote that says like the body stores trauma, and in relationships, you find out what trauma it stored.
Oh my God. So well said. So
Yeah,
well said. And in your like talking about wealth, like in your relationship to money too, you see, like when you're talking about money and wealth, you see how your relationship to that, where there's trauma around, I mean, so many things, right? Trauma around visibility, trauma around uh what it I did like a 2.5 hour hypnosis session yesterday, so I'm still like downloading it. It was really powerful. But one thing I found that was like a deeper layer, even me, I'm a freaking money coach, like I do this work, right? But there's always deeper things to
always.
discover. And I had, because of my mom's side had more wealth and my dad's side came from nothing. And because of this, there was some money that I was able to go to this really fancy private school with the like richest families in Canada. But my family was living in kind of like a 2 bedroom, like small apartment. I was like sharing a room with my brother. And then all these families had like 12 bathrooms. And it was just so like, it was so crazy to be in that experience. Anyways, I was in high school, and in high school, girls can be mean to each other. It's like the Mean Girls movie. And there's like things that happened. And my dad died when I was in high school. So I had a lot of like challenging times in high school, and they were all with extremely wealthy people. And I even realized that even a deeper layer of my judgment of wealthy people is like, oh yeah, all of my traumas, they weren't with like people that were middle class or whatever. They were with really wealthy people. So of course that makes sense that there's this fear of like these people. So it's like a deeper layer of understanding and releasing trauma, as I'm like, well, if I am wanting to grow a 7-figure business or 8-figure business, but somewhere in my body remembers like, oh no, well, that's going to make you a really mean person, like those mean girls in high school, then it's like, of course I'm not going to want to do that.
Absolutely. I love bringing in like seeing the lens through how I see the world now is based on what my past has been. So if I'm going to shift
Exactly.
it, right, either I understand it or I let it go so that I can
Yes.
move on to the next level. So what's up? What's next for you?
Yeah. And I want to give a share a practice for that. That can be really
Yeah.
good. But next for like my business and what I'm
Yeah.
creating.
Oh,
Yeah, like I do like coaching and courses, and I start all the way from the like healing money, shame, and trauma and all that energetic stuff. That's like a money love work. Then I go into the building the business piece, which is like your business accelerator. Like I know you have an amazing accelerator, knowing who you serve and marketing, creating your business. Then the next piece is learning investing, like investing in the stock market, just starting with something as simple as index funds. And if you don't know what that is, just think of like a big bowl. And inside the bowl, there's like 100 marbles, and each marbles is like a piece of a company. So when you buy even $100 of an index fund, you're buying $100 split up between like the 500 most successful companies in the world. So it's very safe, but it grows. So it's a great financial product. And then going into more trusting yourself to pick your own stocks. And then also, finally, I also teach on how to get into crypto and investing in crypto. So that's my kind of like the range that we go. That's sort of like my next 6 months. And I'm sure other things will emerge as well. And then doing all of that with understanding your subconscious mind, working with your nervous system, working with pleasure, working with like the traumas and the fears that will come up, because as you go to do this work, it's going to happen. So you need the tools to work with it.
beautiful. Where can people find you?
Instagram is a great place. Jen Kruidbos is my name, and I'm the only Jennifer Kruidbos on the internet, which is why I keep my last name, even though no one can spell it, but it's Kruid, D like David, B like boy, OS. So if you just Google me, you'll find my website. But Instagram's a great place where I'm active every day.
Amazing. Thank you so much for coming on today and for sharing all your wisdom and your knowledge. And if you guys are wanting to learn more about investing, more about where to build wealth, because it's not about receiving money only about that, it's about building wealth.
Yeah.
Right. And those are two different things. The way that you make and receive money is different from building long-term wealth. And
Yeah,
so check out
absolutely.
Jennifer, contact her on Instagram or through her website, and she can help you do all of that. Thanks for coming.
Yeah, thank you so much.